Let me show you something that might make you uncomfortable. If you are renting a 3-bedroom house in Frisco right now, you are probably paying somewhere between $2,400 and $3,000 a month. Over the next 5 years, that is $144,000 to $180,000 that you will hand to a landlord. And at the end of those 5 years, you will have zero equity, zero ownership, zero tax benefits, nothing. Now, what if I told you that the mortgage payment on a comparable home in Frisco might be closer to what you are already paying than you think? And what if I told you that there is a way to get 2% of the purchase price back at closing? Real cash applied to your costs just for working with the right agent? My name is Neda Dameshghi. I am a licensed Texas real estate agent with Houses by Neda, brokered by Real Broker LLC. I specialize in North Dallas, Frisco, Prosper, Plano, McKinney, Celina, and today I am going to do something that most agents will not do. I am going to put the real numbers on this screen, rent versus own, side by side with nothing hidden. Property taxes, insurance, HOA, MUD, PED, all of it. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly where you stand. Let us start with the rental side. What does it actually cost to rent in Frisco right now in 2026? Those are apartment numbers. And honestly, if you are a single professional renting a 1-bedroom, you are probably paying around $1,600 a month. That is manageable. But the moment you need 2 or 3 bedrooms, because you have a family, because you work from home and need an office, because you want space, you are pushing $2,500, $2,800 easily. Now, here is where it gets painful. If you want to rent an actual house in Frisco, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a decent neighborhood with good schools, you are looking at $2,800 to $3,500 a month. And some of these newer 4-bedroom homes in communities like Panther Creek or The Trails are listing for $4,000 or more in rent. And remember, that money goes entirely to your landlord. You are building their equity, not yours. You are paying their mortgage, their property taxes, their insurance every single month. Let me show you the 5-year picture. $178,000 and you own nothing. You cannot sell, you cannot refinance, you cannot borrow against it. It is just gone. Let that number sit with you for a second. Now, let us look at the buying side. And I am going to use real current Frisco data, not Zillow estimates from 6 months ago. Here is the headline you need to understand. Prices in Frisco have come down 4 to 8% year over year, depending on the source. Inventory is up 40%. Homes are sitting on the market almost 3 months in some cases. Sellers are accepting 93 cents on the dollar. This is the most buyer-friendly market Frisco has seen since before the pandemic. Now let me do what most agents and most online calculators will not do. I am going to show you the true all-in monthly cost of owning a home in Frisco, not just the mortgage, everything. Scenario A, you buy a home at $550,000. That is below median. It is an entry-level Frisco home. Maybe an older resale in a community like Panther Creek, maybe a smaller floor plan in a newer development. At 5% down on a $550,000 home with today's rates, you are looking at somewhere around $4,900 to $5,100 a month when you include everything: mortgage, taxes, insurance, PMI, HOA, and any MUD or PED. Yes, that all-in number is higher than rent. I am not going to pretend it is not. But here is what that number does not tell you. And this is the part that changes the entire equation. Let me also show scenario B. You buy at the Frisco median, around $650,000. 10% down. Higher payment, yes, but more equity from day one, no PMI in most cases, and the exact same wealth building mechanics I am about to explain. Higher payment, yes, but you are building significant wealth through equity and appreciation, which I will break down shortly. One thing I want to be completely transparent about, because this is where Frisco's sticker shock happens. Frisco property taxes are real. After the homestead exemptions, effective rates typically work out to about 2 to 2.2%. And if your home is in a mud or pit district, which is common in near Frisco communities, there can be an additional assessment on top of that. This is the number that Zillow and most lenders do not show you, but I always show it. Okay, now let us flip this equation, because the monthly payment comparison is only half the story. When you pay rent, 100% of that payment is an expense. When you pay a mortgage, a portion goes toward principal. Read that again. After 5 years, the renter has zero. The owner, even in a modest appreciation market, has built over $120,000 in equity. That is the wealth gap that widens every single year. That extra money is not disappearing like rent. A big chunk of it is going into an asset you own. It is forced savings. It is building equity. And you are locking in a fixed principal and interest payment that will never go up. Meanwhile, your rent, it increases every single year. 3%, 5%, sometimes more. Your landlord decides. You have no control. And I have not even mentioned the tax benefits. If you itemize, you can deduct mortgage interest and property taxes. In Texas, where yes, we have no state income tax but high property taxes, that deduction is significant. Okay, now here is the part that changes the math even more in your favor. And this is something I do for every single buyer I work with. When you buy with me, you receive 2% of the purchase price back at closing. Let me show you what that looks like in real dollars. On a $550,000 home in Frisco, that is $11,000 applied at the closing table toward your closing costs, or a rate buy down. $11,000 that makes the transition from renting to owning significantly less expensive. This is real money applied directly at the closing table. About $6,000 can go toward closing costs. About $3,300 can go toward a rate buy down, meaning you literally buy a lower interest rate and reduce your monthly payment for the life of the loan. And here is what matters. This is full service representation. I negotiate your price. I coordinate inspections. I review every contract. You get the same representation any top agent provides, plus the cashback. And it gets even better. Texas has down payment assistance programs, TSA-HC, TDHCA, and My First Texas Home that can provide up to $60,000 in assistance. Many buyers do not even know they qualify. When you combine DPA with the 2% cashback, some of my buyers are walking into a home with almost nothing out of pocket. I review DPA eligibility with every buyer in my free strategy session. So who should rent and who should buy? I want to be fair here. Renting is not always wrong. If you are not sure you are staying for at least 3 to 5 years, rent. If your credit needs work, rent. If you are brand new to a job and still learning the commute and neighborhoods, rent for 6 months and then buy with better information. But if you are planning to be in the Frisco area for 3 or more years, if you have stable income, if you can qualify for a mortgage, this is the market to buy in. Prices are down, inventory is up 40%, sellers are negotiating. Mortgage rates are in the low 6s. DPA programs can cover your down payment, and you can get 2% cash back at closing when you work with me. That window does not stay open forever. So here is what I want you to do right now. Go to NorthDallasBuyerRebate.com, bookmark it. It has everything. The 2% cashback offer, a calculator, and a link to book a free 45-minute buyer strategy session with me. In that session, we will go through your budget, your loan options, whether you qualify for DPA, and your step-by-step roadmap from renter to homeowner. It is free. There is no pressure. It is just math and a plan. I moved to North Dallas because I wanted a better life for my family. I understand what it feels like to look at these numbers and wonder if you can make it work. That is exactly why I do this. I want you to see the full, transparent picture, because when you see the truth, you can make the right decision. And I will be right there with you. I am Neda Dameshghi at Houses by Neda, brokered by Real Broker LLC. 2% cash back at closing, full service, no compromises. Visit NorthDallasBuyerRebate.com or hit the link in the description. I will see you there.